Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? We are coming from you live from our room in Chicago. This is exciting. It's going to be a little scuff. You don't have the normal background or anything, not nice lighting or anything, but we're going to get you the picks out. Got the laptop here, so let's hop into it. With the first game of the week, we have the Patriots at the Jets. Patriots are minus 6-point favorites. The major injuries that I see: Kyle Van Noy, Trent Brown is out, Jameson Crowder is questionable. That's probably the big ones for me. In this game, I don't think it really does too much with the injuries. I feel like Trent Brown's probably pretty significant being out, but I'm going to pick the Patriots to win and cover this one. The Jets just didn't look very good. That offensive line just doesn't seem very good. Mekhi Becton's also out, which definitely hurts. So I feel like they're going to force Zach Wilson to throw a lot, and I feel like Bill Belichick's just going to have his way. So I feel like the Patriots are going to win -6, and I feel very confident about that. Next, we have the 49ers at the Eagles. The 49ers are missing Dre Greenlaw. Kinlaw is again questionable. Ark Armstead questionable too. That's pretty big. Eagles aren't really missing anybody. This one, I don't know why the Niners, it's a very low spread for them. I like the Niners to win and cover. The Niners are just really good. I think the only reason the Lions ended up coming back at the end of last week was because the Lions started pulling people. So I feel really confident in that one, and I think the Niners get the job done. Now here we have the best game of the week by far. We have the Bengals at the Bears. Bears are minus 1.5-point favorites. That line has changed a lot. It was -3 when it started, and now it's only minus 1.5. So that's kind of crazy. The Bengals will be missing Ricardo Allen and Trey Wayne, which definitely sucks. Questionable is Darius Phillips and Marcus Bailey. There's a lot of people listed. Oh, Eddie Golden is doubtful, so that's pretty big news. Questionable is Darnell Mooney and Goodwin, which is pretty big news. Jason Peters as well, and Robert Quinn. They have a lot more guys injured than I thought. But again, I've marked this as a game that I think the Bengals win again, so I'm going to have the Bengals winning and covering here. Obviously, I don't bet on the Bengals, but if I were going to, I would probably bet on them. I just like the matchup of this game, especially with Andy Dalton still there. I think they're very limited. I think if the Bengals can hold their front up line and keep Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack at bay, I think they have a really good shot to win. Next, we have the Texans at Browns. The Browns are 13.5-point favorites. So this is going to be really tough because of the fact that I thought the Jags were going to be terrible. Then the Texans were going to be terrible. And then they blew out the Jags. So this is going to be interesting. So I think the Browns are going to win pretty obviously. But 13.5, that's a lot. So I really think the Texans are going to cover the plus 13.5. So I feel pretty confident with that guess. The next game we have the Broncos at the Jags. The Broncos are 6-point favorites. Big injuries here are Graham Glasnow is pretty big as a doubtful. But for the Jags, nobody really. I think the Broncos win and cover this one. This one's pretty easy. The Jags were just bad. I think they're a really bad team, and I just don't think the coaching's right. I think Urban Meyer probably dips out pretty soon. I don't like him, as I don't think he's made for this. But I think the Broncos want to cover that one. That might be my lock of the week. I'll decide at the end of the video. With the next game, we have the Bills minus 3.5 at the Dolphins. Again, I'm kind of shocked at the low spread here with the Bills. I know they didn't play super well against the Steelers, but I do think the Bills are just a much more talented team, and I think they have a pretty good win here. Dolphins definitely aren't injured, so that's a huge thing for them. I think that's awesome. But I mean, you guys saw the throw from Tua. That pick is inexcusable. You can't do that in such a close game. I think the Bills win this. I just think they're a better team. I think they're more talented. I think the coaching is pretty big toss-up. I think both McDermott and I think Flores are both great. But I think the Bills win this one and cover. The next game, we have the Saints at the Panthers. Saints are minus 3.5-point favorites. Saints are going to be missing a lot of people. That's kind of crazy. Panthers aren't missing anybody. I would still say I like the Saints in this matchup. I really do like Jameis. I like what they've done with that offense. I feel like they've really opened it up for them. While I do think the Panthers played well, I think they did struggle a little bit versus the Jets, but the Jets are the Jets, let's be honest. So I think that's a tough one to judge them off of. But I think I like the Saints here. I think they're going to win and cover. By how much, I don't know. I think we're going to have to be picking an upset here because I think I've picked the favorite in all these games except for the Bengals. But I just like the Saints there. I think they're going to be a really good competitive team this year. And now we have the Rams at the Colts. Rams are minus 3.5 favorites. The Rams have nobody on the injury list. That's always great news for them. For the Colts, we have Braden Smith and Xavier Rhodes are out. That's pretty big. Then we've got Quentin Nelson, Eric Fisher, who I just saw as returning, Kwity Paye, Michael Pittman, and they are all limited, I guess. I'm still kind of confused. It doesn't say, because they say out and then they don't say like questionable or anything at the end here. But this is tough. I think the Colts are going to keep it close. I think it's going to be a close game. So I think I'll pick the Colts to cover but I think the Rams are going to win. I think that Rams offense is really talented. You saw what they did against the Bears. The Bears aren't as talented as the Colts, I would say, but I think the Rams are just very, very good offensively, and defensively they're good too. While I think the Colts keep it close, I think the Rams end up winning this game. Now I've got the Raiders at the Steelers, -6.5 favorites, which is kind of wild to me. I know Josh Jacobs is out, Rich Incognito's out, which is pretty big. But besides that, I mean, questionable Carl Nassib and Yannick Ngakoue, that's pretty big news, I guess. But for the Steelers, having Devin Bush and Joe Hayden questionable, it's kind of big, but they'll probably play. I think the Raiders keep this close. I think they're going to be one of those teams that's going to be like sneaky competitive that a lot of people didn't see coming, but I think they keep it close. I think they cover the spread, but I think the Steelers end up winning this game just because they're probably the better team. But that's going to be a really cool one to watch. Raiders +6.5 might be my lock of the week too. I'll do a lock of the week at the end because I'll get to look at all the spreads. Then we have the Vikings at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are -3.5 favorites. The Christian Darrisaw, Everson Griffin, and Anthony Barr are all out. Eric Kendricks is also on the report. That's pretty big news if you ask me. I think the Cardinals win and cover this one. The Vikings didn't look super inspired last week. Bengals just, I think, outplayed them, really. I don't think it was a huge thing on the Vikings. I still think they're a talented team. Having Darrisaw, Everson Griffin, and Anthony Barr out is pretty big news. That offensive line just did not seem in sync for the Vikings. They had a ton of penalties early. The Bengals just kind of cooked them on that. So I think the Cardinals win and cover this one. The Cardinals look like they might be my lock. We have the Falcons at the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers are 12.5 point favorites. That's insane. And this is one that I'm not going to do a ton of explanation for. Both these guys that are out don't know a ton. I know Carlton Davis III, I've heard of him, but I think I'm going to pick the Buccaneers to win here. 12.5 points is a lot to cover in the NFL, but I'm going to gamble on it. I think the Buccaneers will win. I think they kind of blow them out of the water. That Falcons defense looks bad. The Eagles just torched them. I think the Buccaneers are going to have the day. And then we got the Titans at the Seahawks, -6.5 point favorites for the Seahawks. Caleb Farley is out for the Titans. That's not great. But Dupree and Ferkshire are both questionable with John Brown. And for the Seahawks, Rashad Penny is doubtful, which isn't great. This is tough. The Titans had a really bad game against the Cardinals, I would say, especially defensively. And a lot of Titans fans don't seem to be super high on this team. The offensive coordinator doesn't seem to be great. They didn't really throw the ball a lot from what I heard. One of my best friends is a Titans fan, Hayden. He just said they didn't throw. The play script seemed all whack. The defense isn't great. For some reason, I think this is going to be close. I don't know why. I just have this gut feeling that the Titans are going to keep this close. So I'll pick the Titans to cover here, but I'll pick the Seahawks to win. And we have the Cowboys at the Chargers. The Chargers are -3 point favorites, which I think this is a game that a lot of people are a little confused on. Me too. This one's a tough game for me to judge. The Cowboys just came off a really close game with the Bucs. They not outscored them pretty much, but they hung in tough with them. We know that DeMarcus Lawrence is out. Besides that, no big injury for the Cowboys. For the Chargers, Bulaga and Chris Harris are out. That's kind of big news. For some reason, I like the Chargers in this matchup, though. I think even though the Cowboys were super high-powered, I think that defense is still shoddy at best, especially with missing DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't know who's going to create pressure for that team, and if you give Justin Herbert time there, he's just going to cook you and have a day. So I think I'm going to take the Chargers -3 here. I feel pretty good about that. I think they win and cover. And then we have the Chiefs at the Ravens. Chiefs are -3.5 point favorites. The Ravens have a large injury list right there. Not great. Dirk Wolf's the only one that's out. Everybody else is questionable. Ronnie Stanley and Marlon Humphrey and Jimmy Smith are just not great to have on there. I think the Chiefs are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it handedly. Something about the Chiefs at the Ravens, I just like that matchup for the Chiefs. That defense is just kind of banged up for the Ravens, and that offense too. They got beat by the Raiders, even though it was kind of a really close game back to the wire. I think the Chiefs are going to come out with a really good game plan against the Ravens, against Lamar, and I think they're going to win. So Chiefs and Chiefs -3.5. And then the last game of the week, we have the Lions at the Packers. Packers are -11.5 point favorites. These are some insane lines. We've got some really heavy ones this week. Big injuries. Trey Flowers questionable. DeAndre Swift is questionable. Mike Brockers. Darnell Savage is questionable. But besides that, I mean, I think the Packers are going to win. Do I think the Lions are going to cover is the question. Probably not. 11.5 points. That's a lot. That's the only thing I don't like about these. These lines are huge. So these are the ones that I'll probably get wrong with the spread is the ones that I think they cover or think they don't. But this game, Monday Night Football, man, I think the Packers win. I think they bounce back in a strong fashion from that ass whooping the Saints give them. So I think the Packers are going to win, and I think they're going to cover at -11.5. My lock of the week, though, is going to go to the Cardinals at -3.5. If that offense can keep up that kind of attack they've been going on. Kyler Murray looked insane. He had a hell of a game. And then if you have a guy like Chandler Jones with that kind of production every week, give me that all day, every day. We saw that Vikings line against the Bengals. The Bengals don't have a premier pass rush, and when you have to guard a guy like J.J. Watt and Chandler Jones at one time, good luck. But that's going to be it, guys. This is my week 2 picks. Let me know what you think I did right and what I did wrong. Last week went 8-7, I think, was what I ended up going. So not great by any means, but we're going to keep doing it. I think I'm going to be closer this week. I really do. I feel good about these picks. But let me know what you guys think, and until next time, peace out and stay safe.